I am an invisible man. I'm a man of substance, of flesh and bone, fiber and liquids, and I might even say to possess a mind. I'm invisible, understand, simply because people refuse to see me. Ralph Wilson. Today we were presenting to you all a short film that this film will consist of two interviews which based on questions what does it mean to be an African American?
Okay. What is your name?
Derry Myers,
Where are you from?
Jackson, Georgia.
What high school and college did you attend?
I attended Jackson High School in Jackson, Georgia, from 1992 to 1995. And after graduating from Jackson, Georgia, I received a full scholarship to the Citadel Military College of Charleston, South Carolina. I was there from 95 to 99.
After college, what were some of your accomplishments?
1999, I was drafted. I was a free agent draft pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars. I was subsequently cut by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I was picked up by an arena team, the Carolina Cobras, and I played 7 years in the Arena League. Finished my last season in 2006-2007 with the Georgia Force in the Arena League.
Let's talk about your childhood. What was it like growing up in Jackson, Georgia?
Country. It was good, fun. Played a lot of sports. School's important. We spent a lot of time playing outside, playing with each other, but it was fun. It wasn't troubling or stress or anything like that.
Okay. Did you face any racial adversities in high school, college, or as growing up as a child?
I think today's racial adversities aren't like the racial adversities, and when people say racial adversity, like in the past, nothing was overt. Nobody came out and said, racial things to me. But there was time as far as like when it comes to schooling, there used to be a system in school where it's college prep, tech prep. And when I came to the high school, I was in a tech prep program, which basically meant that my coursework was going to lead me to technical college, not to college. I did really well in school, but even though I did well in school, I was still on the tech prep track. Now, for me, I couldn't figure out why I wasn't testing, placing, don't know why. I went to my counselor and I told her, I'm going to college, because I understood that being on tech prep meant that I couldn't go to college or university. I wouldn't have took foreign language and all those things. I wouldn't have had the math background that I needed to go to college. So I had to kind of advocate for myself in order to get off the tech prep track and get on the college prep track. Those things are sometimes what we call systematic racism. It seems that a lot of African American kids are already saying that, these kids can't do this, so let's give them that. Now, Georgia no longer has a college prep, tech prep system, so which is good, so that everybody's being prepared for college. But that's about as much as I can say. Now, when I first got to the Citadel, the day I went in to check into college, the Citadel had removed the rebel flag, and they said that they would no longer play the song Dixie. So I pulled up on college campus. Citadel's a school with a strong racial history background, where people were protesting the removal of the flag and that the college will no longer play Dixie. So that's about as much racism I can really say.
Okay, so let's elaborate on your occupation. What do you do?
I'm a counselor and a coach. I coached several sports before. Coached basketball, and right now I'm a head football coach.
Okay, so let's talk about being head football coach.
All right. This is my second year as head football coach. I am the first African American head football coach in Jackson or Butts County history at the high school level. At least since the schools combined, of course, there was when the schools were separate, Henderson High, of course, had a black head coach. But that's as far as racial and history shows that we've made we've covered a bunch of ground. Also, there's still some ground to be covered. There are some things that people don't necessarily expect from African American boys or males. Some of those things are still prevalent today, and it's almost at least you feel like it, whether it's perceived or whether it's true. You feel like you got to work a little harder. You got to be more on your toes, and every decision you make has to be the right decision. You know, there's very little room for mistakes. All right.
Okay. Are there any pros or cons of being a head coach or African American head coach?
A lot of pros and very few cons. I guess depends on who you are. My wife might say there's a lot of cons because you know, with any job, the more you achieve, the more you do, the more time that comes with it. Sometimes we believe that the more we do, the less time, or the more we achieve, or then the less time more time we're gonna have for free stuff. But the bigger or the higher you ascend, the more time it takes for you to work on your craft to get better. So I spend a lot of time away from home. So from the family standpoint, you know, it's the time. You know, that they're never gonna put more time in a day. So if I got to spend more time doing football, along with my other jobs, then that means there's less time at home, less time with the family, the kids. So that's a big con. The pros of being a head coach is that you get to affect a lot of kids' lives. You get to shape, mold, build, and you get to construct something. You get to be the head of something and watch it grow, and hopefully do it the right way and do it for the right reason, and then hopefully things will work out. But you just get to be, it's one thing to be a part of something, it's another thing to lead something. The responsibilities are different, the rewards are different. So there's a lot of pros, and that's some real serious cons to it also.
Okay, leading to the main question, what does it mean to you to be an African American?
What does it mean to be an African American? To be an African American to me is it's about pride. I frequently ask the young African American males and females that I work with, you know, that same question. It's about pride, understanding and knowing who you are. You know, just a real simple question. When in the grand scheme of history, you know, when you ask yourself some of the key questions about who we are, and you say some of the great things that we know about in history, like the pyramids and some of the Nile River and some of those things that go all the way back. Even if you research a lot of parts of the Bible, a lot of those places, a lot of those things happen in Africa. And a lot of the great inventions, a lot of things. It's all about pride. So for me, being African American is prideful because of the struggle we've been through, the things we've been through, and then you know what, we're still here, we're still kicking, and it don't seem like the things that should have gotten us or beaten us have beaten us, and I don't think they ever will. So that's what it means for me. It means to have pride and to enjoy and love who you are, even through the struggle.
Do you think your answer of that question would be different from when you were 21 years old?
Absolutely. When I was 21 years old, I was foolish. I don't think there's another way to say it. Probably because with that, I didn't understand. It was all about, kind of like the kids today, it was all about short-term gratification. It was about how much can I get, how much fun can I have right now, immediately. When I was 21 years old, I would have gave a totally different answer to that question.
Okay, I want to thank you for doing this interview with me. And
hello, my name is Davita Berry, also known as Davita the Clipper Cut Queen.
Great. Yeah, what is your occupation? What do you do?
I am a men's grooming specialist, meaning I specialize in men's grooming and haircutting.
Okay. Where are you from?
I'm from Philadelphia, but I currently reside in Atlanta.
Okay. So, what do you think it means to be African American?
Interesting question. I've never experienced being anything else but African American, and I love it.
Right. So, do you think being African American during this day and age has changed from in the past 20 years?
No. I think it's pretty much the same. The same opportunities are available. It's just a matter of those who go for it are the ones who reach their goals.
So, do you think that being African American have some drawbacks and some obstacles?
Maybe.
Maybe.
There's always an element of for lack of a better word, classification where it comes down to African Americans and other Americans. Sometimes we do have to run faster, be smarter, work harder. We have to prove ourselves more than our counterparts in most cases. But I never focus on that. I just focus on accomplishing the goals that I set forth and making them shine. I just focus on me being the best I can be at whatever it is that I'm doing and just take it from there.
Were there many obstacles being an African American woman?
Well, in my field, because my field is a male-dominated field, African American has nothing to do with it. But just being a woman, that was my obstacle. Mm-hmm. But the same thing that's my cross is also my crown, because being a woman also gives me a different perspective, you know, with the men that I work with, and from a woman's perspective. So when I cut a guy's hair, and when I'm grooming a gentleman, I'm grooming him how a woman would love to see you look. So my perspective is a little different, and it works for me.